welcome to the Pulse Collective podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of the PCP, otherwise known as the Pulse Collective podcast. As always, I'm your host, Shruk Ansari. For those of you that are new to watching this show, this is the Pulse Collective podcast. This is where we sit down with top business leaders, entrepreneurs, and people across the business space. We talk sales, marketing, operations, and different methods that we can use to push your businesses forward. For those of you also joining us for the first time, we are Pulse Collective. We partner with businesses all across the world to help streamline their lead generation, bring better client retention to their systems, and overall scale your business in a more AI-powered manner. So if you've been using old school ways and methodologies that haven't been working for you, drop us a message down below, and one of our team of consultants will reach out to you to see if there's a fit for us to maybe help you out. But now with all that out of the way, I'm really, really excited because today I'm actually joined by Ryan Pereus, who is the founder over at Superhuman Prospecting. It's really a company that helps businesses generate pipeline through outsourced cold calling and sales development as well. Ryan actually brings a very, very deep passion when it comes for outbound prospecting as well. So I'm really, really excited to dig into some of the methodologies and some of the experiences that he's kind of gained over time. Ryan, welcome to the show, man.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Awesome, man. Super excited. Let's just hop right into it. Can you just kick us off? I think where I'd want to start is just sharing a little bit about your background, even before Superhuman. What's it all about? What really got you into this space?
Well, I had a knack for sales growing up. I was on eBay. I was mowing lawns, going door to door. So I had some kind of entrepreneurship, pushing my product, working with messaging, see it was clicking early on. And I remember just like at 16, walking around the neighborhood garage sales and just picking up random trinkets or, technology, and then repackaging it in a way that would, encourage people to buy on eBay. And I think that's where I originally learned some sales messaging. But I went to school for business, and then my first job out of college, I actually got thrown into a sales development management role. So I managed 40 SDRs. I think it was like at age 23. I had no idea what I was doing. I'm not sure how I got that, but it was a little different. It was like in-person lead generation. It wasn't B2B canvassing. It was like working events and malls and things like that for a bathroom remodeling company. But it was still the same conversational skill set that you would have in, cold calling or email messaging or something. I really liked it, and I think I had a knack for it, but I was kind of taught by I would say just like used car mobster style salespeople. So that there was really amazing things I learned from them. I don't want to take that away. They have some incredibly sharp skills, similar to Wolf of Wall Street or something. But there's also kind of an edge to it that, kind of hit me in my core in the wrong way, where, a lot of dissonance because, kind of encourage forcing the hand of your customer, bait and switch, anything you can do to get the sale. And I just, after some time afterwards, I kind of took a break from that and kind of had this existential crisis. Is this really what I want to do? If this is what it means, I have to say, oh yeah, no pressure, free home estimate, no obligation. But then literally the sales reps that are being sent out there are staying until the cops are called to get kicked out of the house because the customer wouldn't say yes. And then our sales manager being like, at the sales meetings, anybody who had the cops call them, he'd basically say, God bless you, God bless you, God bless you. And that was the environment I came from.
Man, that's crazy. I feel like door-to-door sales is a whole nother ballgame altogether compared to a lot of things. But would you agree with that, or do you think it's still the same principles apply?
Yeah, I would say, similar skill set apply. I think that there's a variation in doing it on the phone, especially in a B2B environment. But there's some general, I would say, transferable skills around grit, around detaching yourself from taking things personal, being able to overcome and handle objections and those types of things. And you can apply that to certain areas. Some people are just better at B2B canvassing. Some people are better at calling, but there's a huge crossover in the Venn diagram.
No. I don't mean to cut you off. I was kind of curious because your background of where you came from, it's such a cutthroat type of environment where everything is very metrics based, volume based, those types of things. But you ended up building a career around cold calling, which a lot of people in today's day and age they think cold calling is like the biggest, I guess, displacement of their energy and time. Like
Mm.
like nobody likes to do it. So I'm curious, like, what's your new perspective? Like, how did you really, I guess, like rethink what it means to just kind of do that and prospect people?
Yeah, and it's actually a great question for this transition from that past experience to what I got into and what I'm into now. So I had taken some time off. I'd done some other things, traveled around, and I was working for my dad's company in business development. He had a small tech company. And I was thinking, like, what do I want to do with the next stage of my life? I'm in my like 20s at this point. I was like, I gotta like get something moving here. I was like, well, I love sales. I just can't do it the way I was taught. And it's kind of ingrained in me, some of these, I don't know, some of this language and things. So that's kind of where this side came out around the human to human connection. What is H to H? Like you've heard that like B2B, you've heard B2C, but then you've also heard H to H. Humans are connecting with other humans. And really at the end of the day, that's what it is. And if I have something I think is of value and I can transfer that belief that's something that can help you in some way, then that foundational principle is, I think, honorable, right? And so we have to do it in a way, though, that not just drives results, but, and I'll pause here and say, driving results and getting short-term opportunity is extremely important. It's not relationship selling necessarily, but we're not forgetting about the relationship. We're not throwing that out the window for the sake of the sale. So the idea is like, how do you, the philosophy around H began to form with me, which was how do I drive performance in sales without losing trust with my prospects? And that was the underlying question. So from there, that's how I started a consulting company where I did sales copy and training. And then people would say, hey, we like your scripts, we like your training, but we actually just never want to do the calls or emails or anything. So could you do it? And that's how it started. That's how
Yeah, man.
Superhuman
I
Prospecting
think
started.
I think a lot of people, from a young age, I can speak for myself. My experience when I was younger, my dad used to have, both of my parents were like entrepreneurs. They had their own businesses from like when I was a young age. That's all I kind of saw. But I was kind of thrown into the fire about getting like sales for them from a young age. Like my dad was a jeweler, and
Oh,
he
wow.
would he would just he would have his jewelry shop set up, but then getting clients through the door was kind of like my job to help him out with that. And I was a kid. I was like probably like 14 years old at the time. And I remember just being like talking to people around the mall, being like, hey, like we have like a couple flyers, just handing them out, trying to get people through the door. But I realized early on, when you start getting your first telemarketers that hit your phone at a young age, you're constantly told that these people are scammers. These people
Hmm.
are just trying to like take your money and they're not really like good people. Like they
Yeah,
should find a better career. So
exactly.
it's embedded into our minds from a young age that these people are just not, they're not good people. So you don't want to be like them. Now, eventually when you start a business, you end up realizing that you actually have to do some of that stuff because you have to get your name out there. Now, I think my biggest thing is the mental piece of that. What was that mental journey like for you to get over cold calling just for scammers to like, this could be a powerful tool to help businesses actually grow?
Well, I think that there's been at that time is like call it like 2014 to 2016. And that moment, digital marketing was on the rise and everyone was flipping from the yellow pages to building websites. Um, And there's kind of this movement of digitalization, but at the same time, people are getting digital fatigue a bit. They're starting to get cold emails more. And that whole process started. And we've seen that kind of a back and forth between things going more digital and then also people still craving a human connection. Like I think there is something at the basis of any business relationship, a level of trust. And so when people said, well, I can just do things here by myself, I can go to the internet and buy the things I want, but then there's scammers there too. You don't
Right.
know, there's the Nigerian prince emails that went around, right, about passing an inheritance and passing over your account numbers and to, viruses and all sorts of bad products. So then on another side of the coin, you have humans who do have good intention and you can actually talk through in real time to get answers. So I think that's one energy that was working for us at the time, and then I think it's the philosophy that if you can maximize those short term, but in those crucial moments, not try to double down on the sale, but back off and have empathy and then let them set the pace of the customer journey, you end up winning more in the long run because you're not only getting those short term, but now you've saved the relationship for the long term.
That's game right there for a lot of people. I want to really dive into like the business now, like what you guys are kind of doing and who you're the market that you're serving. Because a lot of us have heard. I know when we spoke before, I thought you were a different superhuman that I was kind of familiar with that when I was at my enterprise.
Right.
But what exactly is it that you guys are doing? What's your day-to-day look like? Who are the clients that you're currently serving? And what does your product actually look like? Like, I guess my question more specifically would be, is your team actually doing these cold calls for businesses, or do you have a system in place that you kind of offer these types of companies? Like, what does it look like? Just walk me through it.
Yeah. So the first company is my consulting side, which is the H2H method. So think of that as kind of the foundation beneath everything, regardless of what we're doing at Superhuman Prospecting, which is a services company. The H2H method is focused on the message to build trust back in the market with salespeople, and then also provide that ethos in anything we do. So regardless of what kind of service we're offering, this ethos is kind of pervasive. So that was the underlying message. And then as we built and saw where the market needed us, that's where Superhuman Prospecting came in. So Superhuman Prospecting is 3 main services. We are primarily cold callers. Okay. We're a call first sales development appointment setting company. So we can work with companies on their behalf to develop messaging, strategy, and then outreach through USA based W2 cold callers. Okay. We also have supplementary services such as list building, but then also what we consider inside sales support. So these are functions outside of a call, like cold email or, things as like warm and nurture lead follow-up, those types of things. Okay. But primarily we're call first. So we have a team of 45 employees, 25 of which are these client SDRs. We have 20 support staff in leadership, okay, that drive the performance of those team members and give our clients a better experience. And then, with that team, we manage about 110, 115 at this point clients a month.
Wow.
Okay, setting appointments for them.
So, like, let's say hypothetically for my business, for my guys as well, we have a few people. We've kind of moved to more like an AI model of like for most of our outreach, and a lot of it comes through inbound referrals and inbound leads, not just through ads. But the biggest thing would be like if we were to partner up and I asked you guys to kind of like help make some calls, because trust me, like I know how it is. Like we despise picking up the phones and doing that. So that's a big plus. How does it work? Like, do we give you the leads and then you guys kind of just call them up, or how does that engagement look like?
So as a service-based business, we've found that especially serving the entire B2B and now some B2C market, which has been really fun, that we've limited the type of services we offer so that we can be better at the call side. Now, these supplementary services we found is super crucial because half of our clients bring us a list that they already have, and then another half, we do it for them. And the same thing with email, right? Half of them want email, half of them, they want to do it themselves and do the additional outreach. Once we get a hold of a decision maker, right? They'll take it over. So what we've done is we've made what we consider bundle packages. So this would be competitive with a lot of our others in the space out there, where it's like calls, list, and email will do it all for you as like a complete SDR position replacement. And we offer significant discounts, like 40 to 60% off list and email for doing that. Yeah. But then we can also do just calls only, and build a package. And we have the lowest entry-level rate in the market as well, with a USA-based team and a manual sales dialer. So we actually have a $19.98 option monthly, but then we even go lower than that. We have a quick calls. It's called Quick Calls, quickcoldcalls.com, and it starts at $6.95.
Wow.
Like we've been able to bite size it that much. People are like, how are you making a profit? How are they use USA-based people? We're just super efficient and understand what we need to do in order to still make a margin and pass the savings from the things that we're limiting onto you. And I can get into that one later, but you can check that out. So we offer these extremely affordable models, but in the premium side, we offer additional services. In quick calls, we just do calling, but we offer the list. You could build a list in calls with the premium. You could do calls and emails, or you could do all three with the bundle. So it
That's
depends
cool.
on what you need or what you want. Yeah.
And is it like a monthly license per company, or like, I'm assuming like, it's not like, for example, like multiple people like in the sales division need access to the tool or like need access to you guys. Like it's like one monthly membership for a company and you'll do the entire work for them, right? Like, just
Yeah.
want to clarify. Yep. Okay. And in terms of booked appointments as well, do you guys work on like a performance basis, or how does that work?
So it is flat rate. Yeah. So that is something that I decided early on. I wanted to stay away from the old model of pay by performance or pay by appointment. And the reason is because it's not that I don't disagree with that with commission. We have commissions internally. In fact, based upon how well they're doing with our client campaigns, we'll give them more or less commission. And our clients don't pay us any less or any extra. Yeah. It's just flat rate. So, but I've decided as a service, you're paying for a service, and there's so much education too, right? Like what I've realized is that as a part of really identifying what we actually do is we're really good cold callers. What I don't do is I don't make your product any better for your market, right? So people come to me with kind of like crap products sometimes, and I might not know. And what we do is we help illuminate what's going on in the market and then make change and help them draw out the good parts of their offering that they didn't know that they had, or we get feedback and they make changes by themselves, right? Because you always have the seller side, you have the product side, and then you have the customers it's made for. It's a lot of variables. So
For sure.
yes, appointment setting is what we're trying to do. But if you've never done calling, if you've never done outreach and you're trying it for the first time, that's market research dollars. That's not sales lead generation dollars.
Right.
It's not lead generation until you're getting leads. Until then, it's
Right.
market research and deciding if it's going to be something you want to invest long term in.
Right. No, that's super valuable. And I know a lot of sales teams kind of struggle with that. So it's cool to see that, you guys are bringing that, because it's a pretty valuable solution to bring to the market. I know personally speaking as well, I'll probably take this offline with you and we'll have a couple conversations as well. But yeah, just overall, one thing, if we just had to focus on a business lens specifically. How do you look at scaling? Because I think from the outside looking in, me from like a founder's lens as well, the biggest obstacle I can see from you guys scaling to wherever you're currently at to like maybe like the next level will be the amount of people that you have. It's like, how many clients can the amount of people that you have actually support? So how do you plan on managing that?
We have an amazing team and process. There's this balance between finding the right people, but also making your process as simple and as easy to follow as you can. Because if you don't have that, you can't scale. People are going to do whatever they want. There's no protocol. You don't have control. And so we've been able to work on that a long time. And we've grown, we grew faster at first, and we've stabilized and then became more profitable, and then started picking our clients a little bit more. And it's enabled us to continue to refine our systems and prepare for those big wins, those big whales. Right. So I have a 1-to-5 manager to employee ratio on the operations side, the callers. So if we get a big project, they activate hiring, recruiting, hiring, training, onboarding times that we can get people up and running it within a couple weeks from first interview to first call and be effective. So we just brought on a client. Actually, they upsold basically from 2,000 calls a month, and we do about 65,000 calls a month manual. Okay, just to give you an idea between those 115 accounts. And there's a client that went from 2,000 calls a month. Now they're at 20,000 calls.
Wow.
20,000 calls a month. It just happened this past month. And we had to get, I think, 8 new people. So it was like an extra 800 calls a day or something. We had to get 8 new people because we knew that 2 or so are going to fall out before they start. End with 5 or 6, and we'll be good to go. And they're already hired. We introduced them to the whole company on our all hands meeting on Monday. So all the tech's there. Yeah. That's not my worry. It's just making sure that people are here.
I think a lot of people. I remember early in my sales career when I first landed my first BDR role. You don't realize how intensive it is until you're actually in it. So
Yeah.
how do you? I guess my question would be, how do you approach that? I'm not saying it's a problem for you. It's just what I've seen in the industry. Like people kind of take an SDR role, BDR role. They're like ready to go. They're usually early in their career, but then when they kind of start, they're like, man, like this is pretty intense. Like how do you kind of manage that in the hiring process to make sure that you don't have that kind of problem?
Well, it's expectations up front. When you tell someone before they start getting into their feels about it, it can actually change the way that they believe and think. So we set the expectation, hey, this is high performance team. If you don't make it within the first 60 to 90 days, you will be released. Just want to make sure you're okay with that. All right. But our top 20% performers have been here on average of 4 years. So if you make it past kind of the initial wave, right, and you're able to set meetings, this can be an amazing career for you, you know? And so if you set that up early, they know what they're getting themselves into. They sign on the dotted line, and we always refer back to that. So they know what's coming, right? But if they make it, I always tell my team, you know, when we give awards out, I don't give participation awards. If you got the best caller, you got the best caller. But I say to everybody, I say, but just because you didn't get an award doesn't mean that what you're doing isn't extremely valuable, because guess what? You're still here on the team. It's like, wouldn't you want to be on it? Even if you didn't score the most points or goals or whatever in a national championship team, wouldn't it be still amazing to be on that team?
Yep.
There's a lot of people that aren't on it.
That's a really, really good way to put it. It's like 400. I'm a basketball guy. It's like 450 NBA players. Who knows how many millions of people that hope to be there one day. So it's a really, really good way to articulate kind of the way that that looks. But yeah, man, I think what I really want to look at now is just let's zoom out for a little bit. Look at the industry as a whole. You guys have obviously been able to do your thing in a very rapidly evolving and very competitive space as well. What is your outlook on like the future when it comes to both sales and marketing, especially now that AI has kind of entered the mix for most sales and marketing teams? For me personally, just for some context, like we used to have a kind of a similar model, but we run a pretty lean team. We don't have like 20, 30 people on the phone. It's about three to four guys that are kind of just doing outbound. The rest of it is leveraging AI systems. So what I've seen though is, to make the question kind of direct, a lot of companies nowadays are leveraging AI to do a lot of their outreach. So whether that's email, whether that's getting scripts for their cold calls, or whether that's scripts for their emails or LinkedIn outreach as well, automated systems. How do you see AI continuing to change over the next 5-10 years, depending on like even compared to where we're at right now?
Well, we've been able to use it with efficiencies within our marketing side, within our operations side, and developing our reporting software. They've vibe coded a bunch of that to bring it to a level that is usable by clients. We have an online portal with live reporting and things. So there's that side that we've kind of become a tech company in the way that our support systems work to enable SDRs to do their best. So there's that side, which I'm very excited about. And we've been able to eliminate some expenses and gain some traction and speed using AI. But what I would say on the SDR side, probably the bigger elephant in the room, is whether or not SDRs are going to be replaced. And it's a super valid question. I don't even want to sit here and try to act like I know what's going to happen. And one of the things I say to my clients about, you know, they ask me like, what can I expect on a campaign? I always say, first of all, I'd like to eliminate that word from our discussion, first of all. And one thing I've learned over the last 10 years is I've become less and less of a fortune teller and more of a historian. I can tell you what's happened a lot better than what will happen. So I use that information for a first step forward and begin iterating. And I'm not saying that's the exact way that I think about AI, but I just try not to act like I know what's going to happen.
Right.
What I would say is that based on laws and things around calling, the B2C kind of appointment scheduling, very limited conversation would probably be the first to go here pretty soon. However, there's still hurdles that AI has to go through. I mean, AI call is still considered a robocall, and there's been laws around that in the B2C space, you know, business to consumer for anyone who doesn't know. But there's been laws around that forever that they have to state that that is an AI agent or a non-human in order for it to be a legal call.
Right.
So that's a hurdle, right? Who would like to talk to an AI agent? Now, I'm sure there's some people, but just in that statement alone, you're going to lose a, a majority, you know,
Yeah.
and people actually, at the end of the day, they like talking to people. Now, many times we mean about like customer service and things, but what's crazy is I did another podcast about a month ago. I did a study on this over the last year, literally just in a 1 year time frame. There has been, while a slight decrease in some markets for decision maker connection rates, there's been a huge increase in appointment sets based upon conversations that we get with decision makers. So think of it this way. A year ago, we were at about a 13% from the time we get to a decision maker, and the 13% turned into a meeting. Okay. That's like one in every 7 or 8.
Yeah.
Okay. Right now, this last month in February, we had a 22% conversion rate. And we're calling more campaigns and more people. So it went from 1 in every 7, 8 to 1 in every 4 to 5. And you can hear the difference on the phone that people are craving a human connection, are more open to speaking about products and services.
That's very interesting. And it's kind of like those trends that you'll see, like, how like old trends kind of eventually with like after time serves its course, like they typically come back. I think AI is kind of bringing that need. As humans, we naturally crave community and just like that attachment to one another. And I feel like our ancestral like kind of connection that we have is AI is taking that away from a lot of people. And I think what you're saying, like in terms of like the best example is when I get an email or somebody reaching out to me on LinkedIn, they actually know something about me. And not just something that, you can go on ChatGPT or Perplexity or whatever it is. And like,
Yeah.
you just found like something about my company. But if you actually know something like, hey, like I know that like you guys were operating like like 6 months ago, you guys were doing this. And like, I saw that you guys recently just acquired this system and like whatever it may be.
Yeah.
I think that personalization approach is such a game changer now,
Okay.
because we crave that. We crave that personality. So I'm
Mm.
curious your perspective on it. When people, I'm sure you get a bunch of people that reach out to telling you that they could probably help you like scale your business, whatever the case may be. What is that kind of hook that would lead somebody like you to actually open a message like that?
Well, it's funny because I think there's two schools of thoughts on this. There's personalization and relevance. It's like people don't want to have their egos blown up just to be sold to. But at the same time, there's a connection of like, wow, you really understand me or know me. I'm happy to talk. And so there's the two schools of thought. I happen to be more on the relevant side. Like, just tell me, and maybe this is because I'm in the East Coast, Mid-Atlantic area. Like, let's cut the BS. What do you want? And tell me something of value, because not only are you telling me something of value, but you're saving my time. And then we build a relationship later. So it's like value first, share with me what you got, and then let's talk and let's hang. So I would love to see someone who understands my business or the value that they can offer me more. So how well do I know how my offering is going to impact that business in a positive way? That
Right.
covers a lot of ground. That covers problem solve, like a problem they might have, something they didn't realize that is new to the market and that can help them, and kind of go right for that,
No, I think that's a good point. Like at the end of the day, there's a lot of people that are taking personalization to the next level. I don't know if you've seen these people. I didn't get a message like this, but one of my buddies in the space, he got a message the other day. The hook was outrageous. Like the hook was to the subject of the email was something related to the Epstein files. And it
Bro, I think I
literally
saw
it
that.
literally it literally like I don't know if you've seen that meme too, but he actually received that message. And I was laughing because I'm like, man, like he opened it. He didn't reply to it, but he still got the open. But I think it goes back to what you're saying, like personalization, but also relevance. Like you have to keep it really tight. I'm the same way. If in one or two sentences you can't tell me what you want from me or like what you're gonna do for me, it's kind of hard to carry a conversation forward from there. But just funny, I wanted to drop that at you. But yeah, man, I want to really just wrap up. I know we're coming up to the end of our time here. We have a couple of I have a couple of rapid fire questions that I had prepared for you. So I'm curious to see what you have to think about that. The first one is actually going to be a little bit more hypothetical. So if you, as kind of like the founder over at your company, could kind of wave a magic flag, it could be in your business or it could be just in the industry as a whole, right? What would you kind of want to see evolve in the business as a whole for you personally, and then also in the industry as a whole?
What I like to see evolve, I would like to see my team understand. It's funny, we don't talk enough as an industry, and it applies to our business, about sticking to certain checkpoints on a call that have been proven to be successful in building a relationship and value in the first time you speak with them. And I see so many people trying to do their own thing when they're first getting started with cold calling, and everyone becomes this individual superstar on their own. And they end up getting, a lot of meetings with no appointment showing up, or only meetings with certain types of people because they can't adapt. And I would love to see my team evolve in the way that they are hitting all of our framework. So I'd like to see my team evolve by ensuring that they're hitting the conversational checkpoints we have on a call. And the reason I say that is because there's been a movement of salespeople doing whatever they want, and everyone's right. If it's working, it's right. And I see that as calling in hundreds of companies now over the last 10 years. It couldn't be further from the truth. It's what happens when you get a big ego the first time you have success, and you're missing 95% of what's successful. And so we've learned over the last 10 years, like, how people connect from 0 to 1 on a cold call. And the reason is because our team is becoming more and more, I don't like to use the word compliant, but aligned with our strategy and methodology. We have a very specific methodology, all the way to frameworks, tactics, techniques that they're to be using based upon the market they're reaching out to. And even last month, we had a record of 82% of the meetings that we set confirmed once we got them on the phone to confirm for our clients.
Nice.
So we see the quality in that. And I would want my team to align with that more and more, because once they do, it's like guardrails. It's like the foundation of a building, and then they can add their personality and the fun into it, which makes it all the more powerful. And so that's what I'd like to see from my team, because we have to fight off AI and the AI's ability to eventually have conversation.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And I think the more that we can do that, the more that they can come across as human, and the more that they can make a connection with people that AI is going to have a really hard time catching up with, if at all.
That's a really good point, man. I think I'm curious. Do you guys record all of your cold calls?
Record as
Right
many
now?
as we can. Sometimes there's limits because of our, some people are in like two-way recording states, but yeah, we record as many as we can. We have over 200 call recordings up of our team on YouTube, and we put them up weekly.
Oh man, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
Cool. Okay. I guess my last couple questions would be just really just real quick, and now you don't have to think about them. Just kind of like
yeah,
whatever comes top of mind. Let me know
yeah,
what you think.
let's let it rip.
What's your best cold call opener that you've ever heard?
Cold call opener. I really like the openers that don't ask permission. I would much rather hear you say something like, "Hey, I'll be transparent. This is a cold call." I would even say something like, "This is Ryan. I'm a human salesperson," and like literally just that. And what that does is it fends off any possibility that could be AI. I've been confused for AI before. And number two is if you put the ball in their court that you set the expectation this is a sales call, they can't call you out for trying to sell them.
Yeah.
And I go into it. Yeah. Like sometimes there's a one-liner based on the situation. Like my favorite one, but I don't use it all the time, is I call the gatekeeper, and she's like, "Yeah, he might be available, but like, what's the call regarding?" And it was kind of this kind of skeptical tone. So I just went with it, and I did the sarcasm, or like, skepticism. I was like, "Oh, well, yeah, like I'm actually a salesperson, a sleazy one at that, and I'm trying to like get one over on your boss here. Do you think he'll let me force his hand?" And she paused there, and she's just like, "Oh my God, this is hilarious. I'm going to pass you over to him. He's going to love this. Say the same thing you said to me."
You know what it is, man? I like your answer, but the thing is, like, just be authentic. Like, I think people see through all the fruit, like all the like, what do you call it? Like, just the fluff that they hear on the phones. Like, the more authentic you are and the more real you are, you're never gonna go up to a person in real life and just start selling them something. Like, you're probably gonna have a quick conversation, just let them know why you're talking to them, like, straight
Mhm.
away. I think that's a lost art. Really quick, the next question I got for you: one word that describes great salespeople.
I liked your word authentic. but I think trustworthy.
I agree with that. All right. Now a little more personal. Coffee or energy drinks during your working blocks or focus
Black
time?
black coffee in the veins, baby. Yep. The only energy drink I drink is like an LMNT, the salt water. I don't even think that's energy drinks, but yeah, I can't do energy drinks.
Black coffee is the way to go. I'm the
Black
same
coffee
way.
in my veins.
And what's the biggest mistake that you think new SDRs are making right now?
My SDRs are USA based
Just
SDRs.
like new SDRs in general.
Probably the biggest mistake that they're making is uh, thinking that they can figure it out themselves. Trust your elders. Look for people who have had success and repeat them. Repeat what those best people are doing that you can find, and then begin to make your own spin on it. And I'm talking like 80% the system that they're doing that's repeatable. Find out whatever that is, and then add 20% of your own flair. Not the other
I
way
agree.
around.
You know the Alex Hermosi playbook where he literally talks about his sales team. He was like every single person would come in with a different script, and when we'd review all their scripts and like their performances after the fact, there would be no way to analyze their data. So he was like, I would literally sit down with someone, be like, all right, this is the script, go. Now you actually have to read it to me. And now they'll read the script and then he's going to add another sentence to it. He's like, go again. And they're going to keep going again and again until it's ingrained into their mind. And now every single person is doing the same style of selling. So when it doesn't work, they actually have real data that they can pivot from, as opposed to everybody bringing different types of data to the table. I actually implemented that with my team. Like, that was one of my favorite playbooks that I got from him. So want to drop that in there too. But my last question for you, man, is found something really, really interesting about you when I was doing some research about you online as well. And I'm going to leave it to you to share it or not. But my question is, if you weren't in sales, what career would you find yourself in? And I'm kind of getting a hint by your background here, but I want to see what you.
If I wasn't in sales, I mean, man, I've gone through this journey a lot. I mean, I do feel a calling for sales, and it hits a deep philosophical, existential, spiritual chord, and I enjoy that a lot. And so I kind of wrap that up into entrepreneurship, and I would say management too. Like management's uh, a skill, but like completely separate. Yeah, like well, soccer is my biggest passion. Yeah. I mean, I love the game. That was my first love growing up. I just decided to stay with it. You know, I've had a crazy journey through playing, and then I started a men's amateur semi-pro team. And in the New York, New Jersey, Philly area, it's a huge hotbed for this level. So like after college, pre-professional, and so that's been an awesome like journey to do as a side project, side hustle, side quest maybe.
Yeah,
And I don't know if it would be though my main job, to be honest. You know, I'm not sure.
you're
I'm not
telling me
sure
if
what that would look like.
somebody came to you tomorrow, was like, I'll sign you on a contract, pay you like like whatever, couple hundred grand or like $1 million a year to play professional soccer. You turn that down?
Oh no, okay, no, that's fair. Yeah, you put it that way, you got me. No, I'd take that. Actually, you know what's crazy is next month, this is fun fact. So playing has been always my passion. I like it more than managing, but I'm getting older. I'm 41. I still play with them. I'll train with them. I trained with them last night. It keeps me young, it keeps me in shape. They're the standard. I head coach now and manage the team. I'd love to do like a small stadium one day, like 2,000 people, because we don't have that like England does, like
Yeah,
that fifth, sixth division where like the community comes out. We just don't have that. So I'd love to be a part of that. So if that was full time one day, sure, right? Especially if I got to sell something happened with Superhuman where it was running on its own. Okay, sure, I would do
right.
that. But to your point, yeah, like playing is my first love. So I just found out that there's a U.S. men's 40 national team that goes to Thailand and plays in a tournament against
There we
other
go,
over
man.
40s.
There
So I'm
we
trying
go.
out for them next month. I am trying out
Nice.
for that. I don't think there's any
Yeah.
money. I think I have to pay to do it, but I'm still doing it, you know? So
Nah, I love it, man. Like
yeah.
at a certain point, you just gotta keep chasing your passion. It's gonna make like even for me, I had an injury from a young age, but
Mm,
like I wasn't ever probably at your level to play professional basketball. I also wasn't 6'8", so my dream ended pretty early. But now just playing men's league games like on the weekends, it just kind of keeps you level headed
yeah.
for your work and everything else as well.
It's an
But
outlet. You need
yeah,
that
man, you have
stress
to
stress release, man. It's a form of meditation, right? When you're out there, you're not thinking about your work.
100% completely agree. All right, man. It's one of my more favorite conversations because we didn't just talk business. This is kind of like how I like to structure them. I want to say thank you again, taking the time out of your schedule to come on today. Before we wrap up, you just want to drop in, like, where can everybody find you? The best place to find you online and your website, or just in general.
Yeah. Cold Call CEO on LinkedIn, Instagram, superhumanprospecting.com, the H2H method.com. You can reach
Right,
out
man.
to
It's
me
been a
there.
pleasure.
You too. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Take care. Stop the recording.